From a young age, you are trained to trust what people say. Words are the accepted currency of human connection. But people deceive you constantly, usually without even realizing they are doing it. To survive the pressures of society, humans construct an outward personality. This surface layer is a construction forged out of fear, ego, and a need to be accepted. It acts as psychological armor. Over a century ago, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche recognized this defense mechanism. He warned us not to confuse a person's armor with their actual spirit. As he observed, every profound spirit needs a mask. We tend to take these performances literally. We assume the person speaking the loudest is strong, or the individual displaying excessive kindness is pure. In reality, these outward traits often disguise their exact opposites. If you base your understanding of others solely on the words they speak, you will remain blind to their reality. True observation starts the exact moment the performance stops. Because these personas are artificial, they require immense energy to maintain. They are flawed structures, and under the slightest tension, they fracture. Watch what happens when a conversation shifts. A sudden pause before answering, a quick dodge of a specific topic, or a short, rehearsed reply reveals a person terrified of being vulnerable. Pay attention to absolute statements. When someone loudly insists they do not care what anyone thinks, or repeats that they are completely fine, they are turning up the volume on their ego. Exaggeration is a tool used to drown out deep internal doubt. When a person's story lacks logical consistency, do not immediately assume they are trying to deceive you. Self-deception is a necessary defense mechanism to function in a painful world. They have likely believed their own rehearsals for years. Those awkward silences and conversational inconsistencies are coordinates. They map precisely where a person's deepest insecurities are buried. Nietzsche identified a pattern called projection. When someone belittles others, they are mapping out their internal territory, revealing what they fear inside. Similarly, proclaiming purity builds an outer shell of virtue to hide a frantic need for superiority. Consider the leader who performs absolute certainty in every situation. Chronic composure is rarely peace. It is frequently a cover for unacknowledged guilt or a deep-seated fear of being overlooked. Then there are those who crave absolute control. The individual who micromanages every detail of their environment does so because their internal world feels chaotic. They dominate their surroundings because they are terrified of falling apart. Outwardly extreme behavior acts as a counterbalance. The more rigid and forceful the shell, the more fragile the state of the person inside. To truly read someone, you must look past their current behavior and find the root cause. We operate under the false assumption that adults make decisions based purely on logic. Beneath every tightly structured argument is an unhealed emotional wound. When someone fiercely defends a cynical worldview, they are using their opinions as a shield to protect a very specific pain they never want to feel again. The adult who ghosts, the one who overworks, these are mechanical reenactments of childhood survival scripts. They are repeating the roles they were once forced to play. This explains why people launch vicious attacks. Tearing someone else down is a painful reaction to watching another person embody a freedom that the attacker was forced to abandon long ago. Envy is just unspoken desire. Instead of judging a harsh exterior, ask who they had to be to survive. When you see the history behind the behavior, the villain disappears, leaving only a person trying to feel safe. Identifying the child behind the critic or the fear behind the bully allows you to see a survival strategy where you previously saw an attack. You stop reacting to the performance because you understand the script. Nietzsche did not outline these psychological truths to provide a tactical weapon. This knowledge is not designed for manipulation or gaining leverage over the people around you. This clarity grants you an unshakable inner peace. You no longer take personal offense to someone else's projections once you recognize they are simply trying to survive their own unhealed past. This animation represents the final truth. Learning to see through the masks of others inevitably forces you to examine the reflections staring back at you. Every trait you judge in a coworker and every quality you admire in a mentor is a reflection of a wound you carry or a freedom you long for. Nietzsche's truths serve a higher purpose than exposing the flaws of others.
This knowledge allows you to face your own contradictions and, for the first time, choose who you will become.